Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with actually a 6x8 page and matching pocket page in my 2021 Summer of Fun album. I sort of started this album last summer and then kind of abandoned it, and I've rediscovered it. All of my photos are already printed and ready to be scrapped in this album, so I thought I would bust out the summer camp collection and some color cast designs wood veneer to scrapbook a page. So my thought process for this was I'm taking the 4x6 patterned cards and I am creating sort of waves in or for my 6x8 background with these 4x6 patterned cards. So I'm just tearing them sort of loosely in wave shape and then adhering them to the next stripe in the pattern and working my way up until it is a 6x8 size. Now, I did forget that in the Simple Stories album that I'm using, which I don't remember what they're called, but they're like the new little flat 6x8 albums. In that album that I'm using, the 6x8 size is actually 6x8.5. So I am going to have to extend this towards the end of the video when I realize it needs to be a ½ inch taller, but that's okay. We'll get there when we get there. I can't decide whether or not I want this banner background, but I do decide to go with the wood veneer background because I feel like it will be just a little bit, it matches the sort of the whitewater too, and it'll be just a little bit calmer for this page. So I want to tuck the photo into the front wave, but I want it to be backed. It needs to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to do this green tree paper for the background. Just because there was no green in the stripes, so I thought that the green would stick out well. I should have just done the green solid paper, but for some reason I like the little peaks of the trees around the outside edges. So I'm just going to tuck this in here at an angle, kind of like the boat is rocking. So we're just going to go right in here, and now I can start getting ready to embellish. I'm going to back each one of these photos in my 3x4 pockets with patterned cards as well. Plus I want there to be The Outdoors is Calling as my like main title card of the page. Gonna go through all of these, make sure that that is the one I want. I couldn't decide if I wanted journaling on that side or if I wanted to add journaling to the 6x8 page itself. I decided to go with journaling on the 6x8 page instead of in a card. So I'm going to back all of these photos as well. So we're going to do matching dark green for this one, and then we're also going to back the other two with a couple other patterns from the collection. I'm going to do this orange leafy pattern, and then I decide to go with the green field of daisies sort of pattern for the top one. I don't know why, I felt like I needed some green added in all the way around. Dun, da, da, da. Where did my photo go? There it is. So I didn't center any of these photos. I left more room at the top or the bottom on any of these or either of these cards, just to wherever the dead space was on the photo so that I could embellish better. I can't decide where I want these specific pictures to go, so I rearrange a little bit, but I'm pulling in some Color Cast Designs wood veneer from the June release. I have this Fun Times circular piece, and then I also have a couple of wood veneer hearts that I want to use. I'm not quite sure which ones yet, so I just have the one pulled out. But I do know I want this Fun Times on the main 6x8 page, and these journaling strips are gonna be what I use for my journaling. I actually don't journal on camera, and then I forget to journal before I even take pictures, so you'll just have to imagine words there in the final product. I decided that I want to sort of treat this Fun Times like a sun. I'm going to add the sun too, but I kind of like the idea that it's floating up there in the clouds with the sun. So I'm going to use the clouds from the collection and use those as my embellishment points, as well as this rainbow. I decided to use the yellow one instead and do it down on the bottom. I couldn't decide which color I wanted, but since I end up putting it on that bottom cloud, I end up doing the yellow one because it stands out a little bit better. This page actually came together really quickly. I find that pocket pages are really fast for me because there's not a lot that you can do compared to full pages. So once I had the idea for the paper strips for the 6x8 page, everything really came together quickly and it was easy to do. That's kind of the fun part of doing mini albums for specific subjects like this one. I'm scrapbooking all of the things that we did last summer in one album just so it can all be together because we did a lot of things as a family. I do this every year since the kids were little. I call it the summer of fun. In fact, the first summer of fun year was 2011. This one is 2021, so that's kind of fun. But this will be one cohesive album, and I like doing a mix of pocket pages and 6x8 pages in albums like this. So I have one more wood veneer that I want to pull out, and I decided to go with this My Heart. It has a little chip on the outside edge, so what I'm going to do is put it on the outside edge of the card so that I can just trim that little chip off the whole thing. I actually like putting embellishments off of the edge of my photos often so it doesn't look like something I was doing to compensate for that chip or anything. It just looks like a design choice. So lastly, I just need to add in some embellishment to these photos in the pockets. I don't like to have just a photo or even just a patterned paper backed photo in pockets. I always like to embellish a little bit, so I'm going to add a few little bits and bobs to each of these photos to make them more interesting. So I'm going to add this little circle motif plus this outdoors banner pennant on this one, and again we're going off the edge here so it matches the wood veneer, and then I'm going to add just one little piece to that photo or the other photo that doesn't have anything yet. I was going to add this, there's so much more world to explore right in the center here, it looked really cool, but I just really love the view of the sky in that photo and I just couldn't bring myself to cover it up. So I go with the Go Wild instead, and then at this point I'm done, and then I start putting it in my album and realize that it's too short, so I just tore off a piece of that gray wood veneer card and I'm going to add it to the bottom here like it was meant to be there the whole time. Trim it down to 8.5 inches, stick it in my album, and call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There's a link to the summer camp collection in the description box below, as well as Color Cast Designs. All right, thank you.